Hello, hello, hello. I'm in the garden and the deer are out there in the forest, coming closer. I will film them when they come into the garden. That is always so nice to see them. I want to do a leg massage video to soothe my nerves and your nerves, and talk a little bit about psychology, as I always do. Okay. I got a spray bottle here with self-mixed essential oils in it, and it smells really, really good. And they also function as a mosquito repellent, which is nice. And it functions as a puja, which is perfume, natural, essential perfume, or an incense that repels hungry ghosts. And the hungry ghosts are any person or entity, could be a ghost, huh, who is not settled, okay, who's unsettled, who has unfinished business, and who projects their problems onto other people, who blames other people for their problems. And that's what I want to talk about in this video, because I see that in the world happening, and it seems like about, I don't know, 40 or 50% of people, particularly men, those are particularly men, much more than women, that have this unfinished business and that blame other people. They blame the governments, they blame other demographics, they blame women. I already talked about this yesterday in my video. And so I just wanted to, there were a couple of things that I also wanted to talk about yesterday, but the video was already over an hour long and I didn't want to make it too long. So there's a couple of things. For example, there's so much stuff, I don't even know where to get started with all of this. It all ties in with one another. And so where do I start? I guess I'm going to start with men hating women, blaming women, wanting women. Hating, blaming, wanting. That is a difficult combination. That is a treadmilling type of combination and situation. Okay, it's not gonna get you anywhere. So first of all, it's okay, acknowledge the want. That's there. You can't help it. It's there. It's your biology. Don't deny your biology. And so the other things, the blaming, the accusing, the insinuating, the hating, and all of that, that's childhood trauma that you're just projecting onto women, or particular women who you can't control. You call them bad. You call them naughty. You call women naughty who have a mind on their own. You know why they have a mind on their own? Because we're living beings, sentient living beings with a central nervous system, with a high IQ. Yeah, you bet, yeah? We can be very sexual. and have a very high IQ at the same time. That exists. Yes, it does. It exists. That's a little bit on the agitating side, I guess. It's a little bit on the ego triggering side. Because you want to feel like you are in control, right? At all times. You feel like you need to be in control. But that's an illusion. Because nobody is in control over someone else. Nobody. You cannot control another sentient being. You can enslave someone, you know. Animals have been enslaved. Women have been enslaved throughout history. Okay. Men have enslaved other men. Africans have enslaved Africans. That's how the slave trade got started. Black Africans have enslaved black Africans. This may not be so well received, that message, because it doesn't fit into your storyline. But that's the fact. It's the historic fact. Okay. And they have enslaved people and sold them to people from around the world who came there on their Viking ships and stuff. And they're all to be blamed. They're all bad. Okay. Everyone who enslaves another being is unethical, is cruel. Okay. Everyone, regardless of their skin color. Okay, I just wanted to make this very clear. I see a lot of blame gaming going on, blame throwing, blame flame throwing. That's what's happening. And none of them really wants to look at the full picture. Because the full picture, it doesn't fit the storyline that you want to believe. Now Paul is coming, and I have to make sure that I tell him before he starts to... I'm making a video! Making a video! Video! Okay, video. Making a video. Before he says something, and then I have to delete the entire video. Because then his voice was in it. I already told him I'm going in the garden, I'm making a video. I see the blame gaming that is done by a lot of men. A lot. From any kind of group, you know. From any kind of demographic. Because it's easy for the ego to say, oh, let me just blame everything on someone else or on the government. You know, let's blame it all on the government. That's easy, you know. Then I have some kind of... I have a scapegoat. The government. I can just scapegoat the government or whoever. And that's not going anywhere at all. That just causes war. Yes, I have individual hairs on here. Because I ran out of waxing strips. Now I have individual hairs on here. But they're very, very thin hairs. Very, very fine little hairs. And very sporadic. So it's not like densely grown. I'm lucky with that. Very lucky. But still, you know, those hairs are dark brown. That makes them visible. And I need to pull them out. So I'm gonna have to look on the internet and see if there's something like, you know, they're like the eyebrow tweezers but in big, like a leg hair grabber, something like this. Something that makes it easy, because I already tried with the tweezers and that is a tedious job. To get every single hair individually, and I can't see very well, my eyesight's not so good, and then I don't even get a hold of the individual hair very well. And then Paul gets mad at me and says, you need to have hair on your legs. There's a reason why we have hair on our legs. You need to not pluck your eyebrows. Yeah, it's the reason why you have eyebrows. They prevent the sweat from going into your eyes. Well, if I look at my old videos where I didn't pluck, I go like, gee, that didn't look so good. Yeah, well, gradually, because of those animation films, the anime, my anime babes, they have spoiled my taste in this regard, and so I had no other choice other than to pluck. Because I really didn't want to. I didn't want to pluck any hair out, not even my leg hair. But then I see the animation babes and I go like, well, I want to be more like them. They don't even exist, they're just fantasy, but still, you know. When I see those, Babette and Ophelia, then I go like, okay, I want to look more like them. That's prettier. But overall, you know, I'm infinitely grateful for my body. Infinitely grateful. And I thank the Blue God every day for this abundance and the baby skin. That's a real infinite present from the Blue God, the infinite cosmos. Feels really good to dig into the muscles. Yeah, the mosquitoes are leaving me alone. That's good. I'm so glad. There's nothing naughty about being sexual. Okay? The word naughty, that's another thing. Someone said that the other day in the chat room. You're on my naughty list. Okay, what does it mean? I have a mind on my own. So, yes, and I'm sexual, and there's nothing wrong about it. You know, naughty has this connotation of judgment and like, you naughty girl. You know, it's a judgment in it. Like you're outlandish or something. That's that judgment in there. I'm not outlandish. To your egos, maybe I am, okay, because you can't control me. You can't program me. That won't work, okay? If you want to have a girlfriend who will do everything you want and say everything you want and will never say hi to Yas or Kelty or the Unicorn Man or whatever. This is also a message for the Unicorn Man too, because he's just like that. Like, no, I'm not even supposed to talk to my older friends. I have to just quit them all, you know, just cannot talk to them. No, I can't even say, if they say to me, well, maybe we'll meet someday. Yeah, maybe we will, maybe we will. That doesn't mean I'm going to date him or something, you know. So I do believe in a monogamous relationship. But, and that was the Unicorn Man taking a snapshot or a screenshot, that's ridiculous, of that conversation on Facebook with Philip, and he accuses me of doing head games. That is his old pain talking to him. He sees this whole situation through the lens of his emotional pain, his emotional trauma. Okay, that's what's happening. And yeah, and he has more of a claim on me than someone from the chat room who has never even showed himself to me in a video. They may have come on Facebook here and there with fake photos or maybe photos from way in the past of themselves, and then if I don't respond the very next hour or at least the very next day right away and be all over them, if I'm a little bit apprehensive or maybe I don't have time, maybe I'm busy with animal rights stuff, then they take terrible offense and they block me and they run off angry, then they come back with another account, try it again, same situation. It will be always the same, you know, if you act out or out of your own emotional pain, okay? It will always be the same situation. You can say, oh, let me start all over from scratch now, right? I'll start all over, I'll approach her in the same bitch asshole way, and it will turn out exactly the same way as before. But this time I learned some lessons, okay? I'm not going to engage with a total jerk anymore. So that's a lesson I learned. Well, not. Okay, I don't have time for that. And I don't deserve to be treated like this, to be talked to in that kind of disrespectful way. But they talk in a disrespectful way because the haters, particularly the Ice King, you know who you are. You're a total jerk. And you want to be a total jerk. You think that's somehow this is cool or justified. Yeah, it's just nice, huh? To be a total jerk. yeah, he said of himself, he's a cunt. And there's an energy with it, you know. There's pride that goes with it. Like, yeah, he's a cunt. That's who he is. Well, okay, then you'll be a spinster for the rest of your life. That's all there is to it. Then you'll be a lonely bachelor for the rest of your life. If you have to be mean to the women, okay, that's all there is to it. If you want to control and program a woman, there are companion robots out there, and they're getting better. Okay, they're a little bit pricey right now, but I don't know how much one costs. About, I don't know, as much as a truck or something, as much as a van, $50,000, maybe 100,000. I don't know. Yeah, they're expensive still, but you know, if you have money, you can afford one. Do it. You know, I support that. I'm in favor of the AGIs. But most of you want a real woman, a biological woman. Okay. But then you get mad if she pushes your buttons, if she doesn't do what the ego wants. And get mad. Then you block her, or you shout at her, or if you saw her in person, you'd beat her. Huh? That's what you guys are doing. That's what the real violent men are doing. No, thank you. Not interested in a man like that. No way. Not gonna get into that again. Thinking that I can somehow change you or help you or make you realize something. Thinking that maybe if I just talk to the sock account, then maybe the sock account, maybe he'll listen to me on the sock account. No, he doesn't. That's even worse. No, I want to talk to the actual person, and the actual person has to behave himself. Okay, that's how it has to go. And I want a man who is respectful to women. Every person has the right to have a partner who is loving and gentle and respectful to them, and respects that other person's boundaries. Yeah, there are some asshole women out there too, of course, but there are way more violent men than women, way more. And it also has to do with the childhood trauma, of course, and it has to do with society. And the testosterone plays into it only in terms of like having already, it's already the tendency is already there when a man gets agitated. It's very difficult for them to control their anger. But that's not an excuse. Okay. That's not an excuse. That's an extra, that makes it extra difficult for them I cannot imagine how it must be. You know, it's probably really difficult for a lot of them. But that's why we need therapy, help centers, and that's why we need to bring awareness into the world that you can become aware about all of this. And you can watch yourself and your own behavior. And recognize your own behavior. And consciously control your own behavior. You need to understand that the other person, you know, whether it's your boyfriend or girlfriend, the other person is their own individual. They have a mind on their own. They live for their own reasons. Every animal does. You can't expect an animal or human to cater to your ego. You cannot expect them. Okay? They have their own pain, they have their own trauma, they have their own needs, they have individual needs, they have different personalities, they have different abilities, okay? For example, I need to have paint and I need to have material to make artwork with. Okay? It would be very painful for me not to be able to do that. Okay? Because I'm an artist. I have an artist brain. I have to do that. In the same sense, I have to be free. I had an artist boyfriend once. This is a very sad story. His name was Otto, like the guy who, Otto, that real tragic story, the guy Otto who went to North Korea. You all heard the story. But that was a different Otto. Otto is a German name, an old-fashioned German name. Otto was an artist. He would be 66 now, okay, if he was still alive. But his life was cut short because someone murdered him in front of his apartment, in front of his door. Someone stabbed him like 50 times. I had the suspicion that it may have been his ex-girlfriend, but I'm not sure. We had to go to the police. But I was friends with him, and we were dating each other, but in a very, very open relationship, very open. And that was the only way that worked for him, okay? The only way. And I knew that, and that also worked for me at that time, in my early 20s. Okay? And I really liked him. I was very sad. I was very, very, very sad. Infinitely sad when I heard that someone murdered him. The other artists, they cried. His artist friends. He was gonna move to Berlin. He was gonna go to the art school there, and he would have made it up. He would have made it very far. But some jealous person murdered him because he was a free spirit. Okay. He wanted his freedom, and I respected that. And he respected mine. I'm still okay with an open relationship, you know. So if it's someone who I'm not totally like, you know, like the unicorn man, that's someone I just completely fell for. You know, when I completely fall for a man, I want him for myself, of course. You know, I get very attached. But at the same time, I recognize that's an individual person, you know. And he has needs on his own, and I don't know what he wants. He may not feel the same way about me, okay? Maybe he doesn't even want a woman. Okay? Who knows? But I have to respect that. I have to respect that. If he says he's finished with me, I have to respect that. It takes me a while to move on, to move through this, to work my way through this. That was very painful. But, you know, I can't control him. I can make a sex robot with his shape. Okay? So we can put him into a body cast and and make a robot out of him. And then I can buy that robot. And I can play Fantasy Island with that robot. And I can kid myself, pretend it's him when it's not. Okay. That's a machine, okay, that I programmed in the way I want him to be. Okay. That's okay, it's all okay, it's all good. But when we're dealing with a biological living being, okay, we have to respect that living being. We also have to respect the computer. I respect my computer, you know. I would respect the companion robot too. I would not be violent with him. Something. That would not be good. That would damage him. And if you're violent with a biological being, you cause damage psychologically and physically. There's no need for violence. But there's need for love in the world. The world needs love desperately. And by that I mean kindness and compassion and respect and allowing someone else space and beingness. Okay? That's desperately needed in the whole world. On this planet and beyond. And on Mars and Moon and Venus and space stations and other planets and so on. Pluto. Yeah. It's very, very important. It's an important message for the world. So there's a lot of words in the English language. I would also in the German language too. In all languages, I assume, you know. But right now I'm focused on the English language, and I see a lot of words that are meaningless, like blasphemy, for example. That's a meaningless word. And that word, it it's not just meaningless, it causes problems psychologically. It causes shame, it causes guilt, it causes negative feelings in people, it reinforces people's trauma. Okay? Not a good word. Throw that word out. Recycle it. Recycle that word into something positive. Like, I love nature. I love to respect all beings. All the children of the blue God. The blue God comes in many different forms to help us. Jiddu Krishnamurti and Gautama Buddha and Kenny Redwood. With his light blue eyes. He was one of the blue gods' incarnations. The blue god doesn't judge. Okay, the blue god says, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you're kind to one another. That's all that matters. Kindness, compassion. Support each other. Be good to each other. Gentle. That's all that matters. And the word naughty has to be completely recycled. It's another completely meaningless word, useless word. There's judgment in it and shaming. Every word that contains judgment and shaming needs to be recycled. It's very important. Love your body. Be good to your body. I'm trying to demonstrate this right now. Do what I'm doing. Love yourself. Love your cells, your body, your mind, everything. I say to my boobs and my vagina, I love you. I love you, and you deserve love. There's no shame in it at all. Question society, religion, your parents, your ancestors. They're confused. They were confused, very confused, and very neurotic. They have been made neurotic, and they passed it on in endless cycles. It's time to bring this perpetuation of suffering to an end. It is time now to end suffering, psychologically, physically, to end the wars in the world. It's time now. Okay? You guys take care. I have to find that mouse button. The mouse arrow, I can't see very well here. Okay. You guys take care. Bye bye.